Have you ever found yourself lying wide awake in the middle of the night, just desperate for sleep? You know that feeling, right? It's absolutely maddening. Well, you are in the right place. Today, we're going to dive into some really powerful science-backed techniques to help you finally reclaim your rest. So, does this sound familiar? The house is dead silent, you are physically exhausted, but your mind? It's running a marathon. I want you to know two things. First, you are so not alone in this. And second, and this is really important, you are not broken. This is a super common challenge, and we're going to tackle it head on. Okay, so let's start by busting a huge myth right off the bat. So many people think, oh, I'm just getting older, I just need less sleep. That is simply not true. What's really happening is that the biological mechanism that tells your brain to shut down, let's call it your sleep switch, it's just gotten a little rusty over the years. So to help you oil up that switch, we've put together what we're calling a sleep toolkit. First, we'll get into why sleep changes. Then we'll cover techniques to calm your body. And then the big one, how to quiet your mind. We'll even learn the famous military method. And we'll finish up with a crucial tip about your sleep environment. So what exactly is this rusty switch? Well, it really just comes down to a simple chemical imbalance. See, as we get older, our bodies naturally produce less of that sleepy hormone, melatonin. And at the exact same time, the stress hormone that keeps us on high alert, cortisol, it decides to stick around for longer. It's that 1-2 punch that leaves the switch kind of stuck in the on position. But here's the really good news, the crucial part. You can absolutely fix this. And you don't need pills, you don't need fancy gadgets to do it. The techniques we're about to cover are like physiological triggers. They speak the direct language of your nervous system to send a really clear message. Hey, it is safe to rest now. First up, let's deal with the body. You know that feeling, right? When you just can't get comfortable, your legs feel kind of restless, or there's this tension you just can't seem to shake, no matter how you lie down. We are going to tackle that right now with two really powerful methods. Okay. This first technique, the 4-7-8 breath, is fascinating. Think of it as a natural tranquilizer that you have with you all the time. See, when you're stressed, your body is in fight or flight mode. But by deliberately making your exhale longer than your inhale, you physically force your nervous system to flip that switch into the rest and digest state. It's a genuine biological hack. So here's exactly how to do it. Go ahead and place the tip of your tongue just behind your upper front teeth. Now exhale completely, making a whoosh sound. Then close your mouth and inhale quietly through your nose for a count of 4. Hold that breath now for a count of 7. And finally, exhale through your mouth with that whoosh sound for a full 8 seconds. Just 4 cycles of this can slow your heart rate down dramatically. Our next tool is for that sneaky tension, the kind you hold without even realizing it. It's called progressive muscle relaxation, or PMR, and it's designed to help you consciously release all that subconscious tension and just let it melt away. The idea here is really simple. You can't relax a muscle if you don't know it's tense in the first place. So you systematically tense each muscle group, hold it for a few seconds, and then just release it. You start by curling your toes, squeezing your calves, and then just letting it all go. You move up your body, your thighs, making tight fists, shrugging your shoulders, all the way up to your face. I'm telling you, by the end, your body feels heavy, warm, and just so deeply relaxed. Okay, the body is relaxed. Now we get to tackle the biggest culprit of sleepless nights, the racing mind. You know the one. It's your brain playing its greatest hits album of worries, to-do lists, and that awkward thing you said 5 years ago. Here's the thing. You can't just tell your brain to stop thinking. It doesn't work, right? Instead, you have to distract it. And cognitive shuffling is a brilliant technique for this. It basically scrambles your logical thought process by feeding it these random, unrelated images, which tricks your brain into that state right before you fall asleep. Here's exactly how it works. You pick a simple, neutral word, something like bedtime. For the first letter, B, you just visualize a series of totally unrelated things. A bear, then a ball, then a boat. Now, the key is not to create a story. Just see the image and move on. Then you go to E, elephant, an egg. I guarantee you probably won't even make it to the end of the word before you start to drift off. Now, let's talk about a preventative tool. I love this analogy. Think of your brain like a computer with way too many tabs open. If you try to go to sleep like that, it's just going to keep whirring and overheating all night. The worry dump is how you close those tabs before you even get into bed. And the method itself, it's so simple, it's brilliant. You just take a notebook and you make 2 columns. In the first one, you write down the worry. In the second column, and this is the absolute key, you write down the single, very next actionable step. By getting it out of your head like this, you're giving your brain permission to let go. You're basically telling it, hey, this is captured. We have a plan. You can rest now. All right, now for the heavy hitter. This method was reportedly developed by the US military to help pilots fall asleep in under 2 minutes. Just think about that for a second. These people needed to rest in chaotic, high-stress environments, sometimes even sitting upright. If it works for them under those conditions, it can definitely work for you. It breaks down into 4 simple steps. First, and this is key, you have to intentionally relax your entire face. Unclench your jaw, relax your tongue, those tiny muscles around your eyes. This sends a powerful relaxation signal to your whole body. Next, drop your shoulders. Let them sink as low as they can possibly go. Then, exhale to relax your chest and let your legs go completely heavy. And now, the final, most important step is clearing your mind. To clear your mind, you hold one of 2 very specific, very static images for about 10 seconds. So imagine you're lying in a canoe on a perfectly calm lake, just looking up at nothing but a clear blue sky. Or you can picture yourself in a black velvet hammock in a pitch black room. The absolute key here is that these images are calm and, most importantly, they're not moving. But what happens when your mind inevitably wanders? Well, the method has a brilliant little fix for that. You just repeat the words, don't think, don't think, don't think, over and over again for about 10 seconds. It might sound a little silly, but trust me, it acts like a mental firewall, blocking other thoughts from getting through. So, we've covered techniques for your body and for your mind. This last piece of the toolkit is all about your environment, and it's a true force multiplier. It can make every single technique we've talked about even more effective. So what is the ideal temperature for sleep? Get ready for this. It's a cool 65 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit, or around 20 Celsius. Now, that is probably way cooler than most people think. But there's real science here. To even start the process of falling asleep, your core body temperature actually needs to drop by a couple of degrees. A cool room just makes that process happen so much more easily. And this leads us to the magic combination: a cool room, but warm feet. That's right, wear socks to bed. I know it sounds contradictory, but when your feet are warm, the blood vessels on the surface actually open up. This helps your body radiate heat more efficiently, which cools your core faster and sends that powerful time for sleep signal straight to your brain. So, the most crucial point to remember is this: your body knows how to sleep. It wants to sleep. These techniques aren't about forcing it, they're about gently reminding it of the path. It might take a little practice, so just be patient and kind with yourself as you learn. So you now have a full toolkit of powerful, drug-free methods to improve your sleep starting as soon as tonight. The only question left is, which tool are you going to try first to reclaim your night? Thanks for joining me. Sleep well.